Let's now talk about evolution. Well, evolution also is a very complicated theory. There's a gigantic debate what the theory says and how the theory says it and when the theory says it. I'm going to give you a schematic version that you'll find in all the textbooks, but I'm aware that fine points could be raised. But I've had 45 minutes for the lecture altogether, so I'm skipping it. Imagine something, call it A. This A has a special ability. It makes copies of itself. A thing that makes copies of itself is quite complicated. It's not a paperclip. It's not a calculator. It's not even a VCR. It's got to carry a blueprint of itself and the ability to select materials and put them together the right way. So you start with one A, then you have two A's, four A's, 8, 60, 32, 64. Well, lots and lots of A's, because each one makes copies of itself. This copying process is almost perfect. Almost perfect. But not perfect. From time to time, there's a mistake. Let's say, I'm picking the numbers at random. Let's say once in 1,000 copies, there's a mistake. If it makes a mistake, it's probably going to cripple the copy. The copy won't be able to function. So usually, if you make a mistake in copying, what you'll get is a piece of junk. Something that won't work. But once in 1,000 mistakes in copies, you get a copy, a mistaken copy, an almost copy, that makes copies better, makes them faster, makes them last longer, makes them in a wider range of temperatures. It's better at making copies of itself. Call this one A star. Now you have the A's, which are continually making copies, and the A stars. And the A stars make 1 A star, 2 A stars, 4 A stars, 8, 16, 32, 64. But they come a little faster, and they last a little longer, a little stronger. So now you have competition between the A's and the A stars for the available materials in the environment. Of course, the A's are breaking down, the A stars are breaking down, there's raw materials being recycled, but since the A stars are better at making copies, they're going to make more copies than the A's. And that's the way it will go until what? Until A double star. You see, the A stars aren't perfect at making copies either. Once every 1,000 times, there's a mistake in the copy. They go down. Those ones that are mistaken usually are broken. But once in 1,000 mistaken copies, there's one that copies better. And that one now is going to be in competition with the A stars and the A's, and it's better than both of them. So it will continue to make more and more A double stars until A triple star, and so forth and so on. You now have the whole story of how life developed. That's it. That's basically it. You start with something that makes copies of itself. It's called a self-replicator. That's the way they say it in the jargon. It makes copies of itself. Sometimes the copies are mistaken. Usually a mistaken copy is broken, except for the 1 in 1,000, which is better. And that's where you get giant ferns and butterflies and mosquitoes and whippoorwills and elephants and human beings. It all comes from simply copies, sometimes mistaken copies, and then sometimes a mistaken copy makes better copies. That's the whole story.